I still remember the exact moment my life tilted on its axis. My phone buzzed while I was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, and I didn't recognize a number. A single text. "We need to finalize the papers tonight. Don't drag this out." It hit me like a punch to the chest. Divorce papers. I froze, knife in hand, staring at the message as if it were some cruel optical illusion. I knew she'd been distant lately, sure, but I never imagined we were this far gone. Not us. Not after 10 years. At first, I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe it was just a lawyer sending a formality. But the cracks had been there for months. Subtle, almost invisible. Missed calls she couldn't explain. Her phone buzzing in the middle of the night. Hands darting over the screen when I walked in. Little excuses, just work stuff, or "I forgot to tell you," that I wanted to believe. I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I'd failed to notice the quiet pleading in her eyes, the way she smiled a little too tightly. That evening, I tried to confront her gently. "Are we okay?" I asked. She paused, studying me like a puzzle she didn't want to solve. "I'm tired," she said finally. "Let's just have dinner." Her tone was flat, almost rehearsed, but I swallowed my suspicion, forcing myself to relax. A week later, I noticed something new, a pattern I couldn't ignore. She was texting more, whispering to herself while typing, laughing at her phone when no one else was around. One night, I leaned against the doorframe of the living room and caught her screen mid-scroll. My heart stuttered. Flirtatious messages, full of private jokes and nicknames I'd never heard before. I pulled back, heart hammering, mind racing. Could this really be happening? Was my marriage just a well-practiced lie I had been living inside? I tried to deny it, rationalize it, tell myself she was just friends with someone who didn't understand boundaries. But the feeling of being watched, of being lied to, tightened around me like a noose. Every memory began to twist. The late-night dinners, the vacations, even the simple way she used to laugh at my dumb jokes, all suddenly felt like performances in a play I had no part in writing. Then came the moment I will never forget. I was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the stack of papers she'd left on the nightstand, hands trembling, when I heard her voice from the other room. Soft, casual, but unmistakable. "I can't believe he has no idea yet," she said. My stomach dropped. I leaned closer to the door, straining to hear. "Tomorrow he'll sign and it'll all be done. I never thought it would feel this easy." Every word was a knife. I wanted to scream, to cry, to smash something, anything, to make the world stop spinning. But I couldn't move. The betrayal was too sharp, too immediate. My own wife, the person I had trusted with my life, speaking so freely about ending us while pretending everything was fine. The confrontation was inevitable. I waited until she emerged, smiling faintly, unaware that I had heard everything. My voice barely rose above a whisper. "Do you realize what you just said?" She froze. Her face shifted through disbelief, panic, then guilt, though she tried to hide it. I don't know what you mean," she stammered. Too late. I laid the papers on the table, hands shaking. "I know. Everything." For a long moment, we just looked at each other, the silence heavy with years of love, mistakes, and now absolute betrayal. And then she started to cry, not dramatically, not theatrically, but quietly, almost like she was mourning something too. She confessed, stumbling over explanations that sounded like excuses. Loneliness, distance, mistakes she claimed I made that drove her away. Every word cut me deeper, even as I understood, on some level, the confusion that had brought her here. I left the papers on the table that night. I didn't scream. I didn't hit the wall. I just walked away, each step deliberate, each breath a reminder that I deserved more than this. The house felt empty without shouting, without pleading, like it had been for months. But there was a strange clarity in that emptiness. I didn't need her permission to grieve. I didn't need her explanation to reclaim myself. Weeks later, when the ink dried on the final signature, I felt a strange relief. Not joy, not triumph, just a quiet, unshakable knowledge that I had survived. My heart ached, and it still does sometimes, but I walk differently now. Stronger, wiser, and painfully aware of how fragile love can be when trust is broken. I'll never forget overhearing those words. They burned into me, not just as betrayal, but as a turning point. It was the moment I realized my worth isn't defined by someone else's choices. And though it hurt more than I thought I could endure, it also reminded me that the most important signatures in life are the ones we write for ourselves.